Now loading podcast, period.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podcast Period, the internet's stupidest podcast. My name is Ben, and today, as always, is my quarantined host, David.
You couldn't bring that up, huh? Right off the bat.
Right off the bat, yeah.
Yep. Hi, guys. I'm here. My head hurts, and I have a fever, but I'm here.
So, unfortunately, David has obviously started exhibiting symptoms of the aforementioned virus, but we're still going to press on with the show, and we're hoping that David feels better, obviously, but we're not going to focus on that. It's not going to be the focus at all for today's show. I actually don't think we have one tangentially coronavirus related thing, but that's it. Comparatively to our last 2 or 3 shows, we've had at least 2 or 3 topics surrounding the coronavirus.
It blew up a lot more than I think both of us expected, though.
Yeah, that's all the articles were for a while. Coronavirus this, coronavirus that, and now we actually have some stuff that's not about that.
Thank you.
Not specifically about that anyway. But anyway, so yeah, first thing we've got on the docket is something that I wanted to talk about. It happened, I think, maybe a couple days after we recorded our last episode. If you guys have been on Amazon Prime recently, if you've been on the video service, then you've seen the new Prime Cinema thing where you can rent movies that are out in theaters right now. So I think that they've pushed out all of the releases that are in the article as of, whenever this article was written. They have Emma, The Hunt, The Invisible Man, which I watched last night. It was really, really good. Onward, which probably shouldn't rent because it's going to be on Disney+. Bloodshot, Birds of Prey, The Gentleman, Just Mercy, and The Way Back. I just thought it was really interesting to see something that I don't think anybody thought would happen, in their lifetime, where we would see movies that are currently playing in theaters on a streaming service, within weeks. And it's obviously tangentially related to the coronavirus because the movie theaters are closed. So where are you going to go see the movie? Why not watch it in the comfort of your own home, on your own couch? Watching your own, or eating your own normally priced popcorn and hot dogs and nachos.
To be completely honest, I am just fine with this.
Me too.
I have no complaints whatsoever. Now, I do enjoy going to the movies with people as a socializing thing. But I don't socialize with anybody anymore because you're gone. And everybody else is busy, and there's no point to it, which is why I never really watched movies before we met. So I'm all on board. This is the introvert's best thing ever. Everybody that's a homebody is just totally down with this.
It's not, I wouldn't say that this is necessarily reasonably priced for the single person, because it is $20 per rental or whatever.
Yes.
But even for somebody like me and my wife, just 2 people, we would spend this much going out to a movie anyway, and now we don't have to get into a car and drive 20 minutes to get some overpriced popcorn. We can just rent it on our own TV and just sit down and watch it, do whatever.
Yep.
We can pause it to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
It's amazing.
It's on
and it's even an even better deal for people who have kids, like the Onward thing.
Yep.
Like I said, probably shouldn't rent it because it's going to be out on Disney Plus anyway. But kids don't care. They're like, I see that. I saw the trailer for that. Let's watch it. And now you only have to pay $20 to see the movie, as opposed to the $40-$50 that you would have to spend to take them out to a movie normally.
plus the aforementioned overly priced snacks and drinks.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll talk more about this in my discussion topic, because I thought this would be something interesting to expand on. But for now, this is where we're going to leave it off.
So what movies were included? You mentioned them, right?
Yeah, I went through the list.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think there's another one that I wanted to see. This Bloodshot one with Vin Diesel looked pretty interesting, but my wife is obviously probably not going to watch that. Anyway, so what juicy news do you have for us, David?
Okay, so poor AMD. They had some intellectual property stolen involving their GPUs. They had some source codes leak out for their upcoming RDNA 2, Navi 21, Navi 10, and Xbox Series X Adrian GPUs. So there is a hacker out there who has apparently had this for some time, and at least since December, it looks like, and tried to contact AMD a few times about it and let them know that, hey, I have this, and I want what he claims is worth $100 million in intellectual property paid as ransom, so that this does not get completely leaked out. He's leaked a little bit of it to prove its authenticity, but claims he has it all. Now, AMD has obviously declined to pay said ransom, and basically has said that this source code is complete and utter garbage to any third-party people, because it's basically only going to be understood within AMD itself because of its internal programming language.
Okay.
So it's a Verilog
So it's
file.
it's not like at least according to what they're saying, they're not programming in like C++ or whatever. This is like some sort of internal programming language that they've created.
Yeah, basically, and it's they represent their Verilog files that represent single and isolated functions on the GPU, not the whole GPU blueprint. So there's really nothing in here new that anybody can do anything with, supposedly, that they wouldn't actually have access to once actual products were launched anyways. Because, I mean, if it's not a GPU blueprint, who the heck cares? Because you can just buy the card and look with it with electron microscopes and all that. And you can get the blueprint yourself like that. So there's not things that can't be done later on when the cards are launched that says, oh, well, now I know how it works because I have an exact copy of it, blah, blah, blah. But basically, AMD is not, they're not amused and they're not worried about it. But that's a pretty ballsy move, though.
I don't know. This guy, I feel like this seems like a whole bunch of BS. Like, even if he does have something, clearly AMD isn't all that worried about it. Maybe it's just them trying to save face, but I feel like at least the public face that they're putting on is convincing enough to me that I don't know. I don't think they're worried about it at all.
Yeah. So it's I mean, I'm sure if Intel and Nvidia wanted to, they could probably back look into this code and figure out what it means without having AMD's internal coding language available to them. But
sure, maybe.
Why are they going to care? At this point, these things are so far past design and production that even something happening now isn't going to change anything.
Yeah, even if something gets out about the Series X GPU, it's not like people aren't going to buy the console.
Exactly. And it does nobody any good. I mean, what's Sony going to do? Are they going to understand what it is and make significant changes in the next 6 months that's going to completely rid this thing useless?
No, not even close.
It's the same blessed thing that they have. Basically, they're already going
to be in the same phase of production anyway. If they try to make any hardware change at this point, it's going to be half baked and it's going to kill them in the long run.
Exactly. It's not worth it. So whatever. You can sit on your quote $100 million of IP property and sit on it and rotate.
Shove it up as far as it'll go.
Exactly. So that's that.
Okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit. I haven't played this game in particular, and I haven't played the other game that we're going to talk about later on in the episode, but I wanted to talk a little bit about Doom Eternal because this has come out. I've gone back and finally I haven't quite gotten to the end yet, but I've gotten really, really close to the end of the original 2016 Doom. So it's made me even more excited for this because I have seen so many screenshots and videos of this thing. As soon as this goes on sale, I am buying it. I'm so excited. It seems like it runs like butter on pretty much anything, even with de novo on it, and it looks gorgeous. It looks even better than Doom 2016 did, and Doom 2016 looks really good. So I'm excited. I know this isn't quite your cup of tea. I don't think.
No.
You don't even. I don't think you own the 2016 Doom, do you?
Nope.
You should try it. Get it next time it goes on sale or something.
I might. Is it
you
co-op
like
multiplayer, or is there anything that's multiplayer?
No, it's just single player. I mean, there is multiplayer, but it's not the story.
Gotcha.
The story itself is just single player, but it is super fun.
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
Anyways, that's the story. I just wanted to gush about it.
Alrighty. So, let's talk about our second favorite Intel, because long live AMD. It's been a while since we've had.
Are you sure they're not our third favorite?
They might be.
Over because I think it goes AMD, Nvidia, Intel, right? It has to go that way.
Sure. Sure. We'll say that.
Anyway.
Ingredia. Let's see. So we've got some specs coming out for their new 10th generation Comic Lake X. Goodness gracious. H is in Hector. Let's see if I can get this right. Their new mobile series processors going into laptops and stuff. Mm-hmm. There's not a whole lot going on here. They did do a little bit of weird nonsense with some of the cores and threads. They did take the lead that they took with the upcoming desktop CPUs of putting hyperthreading on everything. But they also took a step back and created a whole bunch of confusion. So the i7-10875H.
The what?
10.
What kind of product name is that?
Yeah.
What? That's so dumb. Why would? Who is coming up with these names over there?
I don't know.
Like, for real. Who? Why? Why?
So it's
anyway.
It's an 8-core 16-thread CPU with a 2.1 gigahertz base.
Okay.
And a 4.5 gigahertz boost, supposedly with 16 megabytes of on-chip cache at a 45 watt TDP.
Okay.
But the other i7, or at least one other i7, there's actually two of them, the 10850 and the 10750, or 6-core 12-thread. So Intel has gone and fucked up yet another very easily explainable thing to people. which was i3s have this many, i5s have this many, i7s have this many, and they've gone and merged it all together. So you've got i7s that have 6 core 12 threads, and then you got i5s that have 6 12s. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Why?
And then there's an i5 with 4 8.
Yes.
What? Why? And then there's an i9 with 8 16. 2 i9s. This is so dumb. Why do they do this to themselves? Like, for real. It's not that hard. Just keep it consistent. If you really want to have 5 i7 SKUs, then go for it. Whatever. But you don't. Why are you splitting it up? That's so dumb.
I don't know. So
I don't understand.
Be very careful what you look at when you're looking at product names, because you don't know what you're going to get unless you go deep into the specs anymore.
Just pay it. Yeah, you're gonna have to. If you're looking to buy a laptop with any of these new processors, you're going to have to look into the specs to find out what you're getting, and just make sure everything matches up. Because
even I'm not.
Somebody's gonna put the i7 10875H and it's gonna be the 10750H or whatever.
Yep.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need to become a tech expert if you're looking at anything Intel, which is why AMD is still our number one.
Oh, it's so terrible.
God. Awful people.
And then rounding out the mobility side, RTX Super cards, or the 20 series, is coming out with a mobile side.
Fantastic.
So they're going to do the 1650 Super, 1650 Ti notebook, the 2060 Super, 2070 Super, and 2080 Super.
Okay.
And it looks like they're all going to have GDR6 this time, so no GDDR5 Plus or anything like that.
Okay.
Varying clock speeds, varying memory buses, and varying amounts of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
So, good luck with that. Now, here's what they did that was stupid, and where people knew what was going on, but now they won't. Their TDPs, they played with them, and they done screwed crap up. So the 1650, 35 watt standard, 50 watts max Q, right? 1650 Ti, 35 standard, 50 max Q, right?
Now
so max Q is higher, right?
Max Q is like the desktop equivalent.
Or at least supposedly.
To explain it to people. Yeah.
Okay, well then why...
Standard is the mobile one.
Yep.
Max Q is the quote-unquote desktop equivalent. Just to make this clear.
Supposedly.
At
least that's how it used to work. Now, the 2060 Super, 115 watts standard, 80 watts on the Max Q. So why does the better one have less TDP?
Tell me how that makes sense.
Explain this.
NVIDIA, explain yourselves. Try and explain that. How are you messing this up? Why?
So why,
how does this make any sense?
Why have the Max Q branding at all if this is what they're going to do?
I don't know why they don't just keep it with the mobile cards, or just keep it standard. Just keep one thing, and if you really want to do a Max Q, just do it on the really high end cards, because that's really all you need it on. You're not gonna get it. Who's gonna buy a 2060 Super Max Q? What difference is it gonna make?
I don't know.
In a laptop?
I don't know.
Like, really?
I don't know.
I'm done. Stupid.
It's giving me a headache. I already had a headache, but it's making it worse.
Okay, so also somewhat tangentially related to the coronavirus that we've got going on. The Internet Archive, known for, archiving things that are not free, but out of the public, or in the public domain, I should say. They also have a library project called Open Library, where it works like a library, except it's digital copies of books. And so how it used to work before the quarantine coronavirus thing was that they had a limited amount of copies that they would lend out based on how many they had, quote-unquote, purchased. But since it was a digital file, they technically didn't have to put that restriction on there. So that's what they did here. They've turned off that restriction entirely. So before, where you would have to wait for whoever was done reading it to be done reading it and return it, quote-unquote, and then you could go, if you were on the waiting list, you could go and take that new copy out, and then read it and return it, so on and so forth. What they've done here is that they have removed that restriction entirely. So now everybody can check out these books, no matter how many people have already checked them out.
Cool. Thanks.
And it's contentious because some of these books are copyrighted. So you're not. It's not necessarily illegal per se, at least as far as I can tell, because it's not like they're necessarily giving people the tools to download this book and keep it forever. Although I'm sure that there is a way for them to do that. But that's not necessarily how, everybody else is going to see it, because you can still get any book or any book that they offer, download it and keep it for as long as you want to, and keep it out indefinitely, maybe. Who knows? It's hard to say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
More things to do while everybody's cooped up at home, driving their parents crazy.
You got new movies that you can rent. You've got books that you can rent, or not rent, check out. So you've got no reason to go out and bother people at Publix or Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever.
Hint, hint. Stay
cough,
home.
cough. Anyway.
Alrighty.
That's it with this one.
So, I only brought this up because it kind of leads more credence into what's happening next time, or at least the next generation of Intel CPUs. They've delayed this so many times that we really haven't really talked about it too much, besides in a little bit here and there. But finally, it looks like we're going to get 10th gen Intel desktop announced, hopefully on April 30th. As we've discussed.
I think the last time we talked about this was when they confirmed the core and thread counts to be hyper threaded on everything.
Exactly. So
which was a while ago.
It has been a while. So we talked about that. That is still the plan. It looks like they gave hyper threading to everything. Thank goodness. And I'm pretty sure we went into detail about how the 400 series motherboards are going to have a new pin layout. So they're running a new socket on it. It's going to be LGA 1200, which is going to have a much different socket layout than any of the previous ones. So while the physical socket size is going to be the same, at least as far as dimensions go, it is a completely new socket, and nothing will work in the past or in and here's the kicker, and this will be explained more in detail after Ben's next topic, but it doesn't look like it's going to work with anything in the future either. Looks like it's going to be a one generation socket, and that's it.
See and tell, this is why you're our third favorite. This right here.
So not only did you piss everybody off by switching sockets again, it looks like it's a one-trick pony.
Yep, one generation only.
Great.
This is why we can't have nice things, Intel, You're giving all the credence to AMD because they've supported the same socket for like three going on years. 3 generations now, yes. And there's going to be another one coming out too.
So
granted,
I brought it up.
Not all the features have necessarily gone through.
No, but
you can still use the 3000 series on a first generation Ryzen motherboard. Most of them. So, that's all I'm saying.
I brought it up for the explicit purpose to say, don't bother.
Yeah.
Don't. Just don't. They're way late. They were supposed to be out last year. They're still the 14 nanometer process. They're still the same Skylake architecture, refreshed 5 times now. You get 2 more cores on the i9 and a little bit faster boost speeds. That's it.
Oh boy.
If you really want 2
Fantastic.
more cores than an 8-core 16-thread 9900K, you should have gotten a Ryzen 3900 or 3950.
Exactly.
And been done with it.
And we still have 4th gen Ryzen coming out sometime this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
October.
So there's literally no point to buying this.
So don't. That's why I brought it up.
If you are legitimately thinking about buying this, you are wrong. Just don't. Don't do it.
Next.
Okay. So again, this is not a game that I've played because I don't have $1,000 just laying around, nor do I have $400 to buy an Oculus or whatever laying around. But I have watched videos about this, and this makes me... I'm pretty sure we talked about this, maybe not last episode, but the episode before, because we were talking about Black Mesa, the remake for Half-Life 1, and we kind of jokingly said that nobody was going to buy a VR Half-Life game, because why? Why do you need it? I've been looking at this, and it seems just so out of this world. Like, all the VR games that I've seen have been like the equivalent, like equivalent mobile games, I guess. Just small bite-sized experiences, and sometimes, pretty decent full games. But nothing was really selling me on VR until I saw videos of this game coming out. This is the reason VR was invented.
I was going to say,
this game right here.
This is going to be the game that actually... This wasn't the game to buy because you had VR. This is the game to buy VR to play.
Yes.
And I wasn't 100%. Expecting that.
I have been seriously looking into... I mean, obviously this is not going to happen anytime soon because I'm broke. But I've been seriously looking into trying to get some sort of VR headset so I can play this game. Definitely not a Valve Index because that's $1,000.
Are they really $1,000?
They are $1,000, yeah.
Lord.
But they have, insanely good tracking because you've got the freaking lighthouses all over the place. And you've also got the pressure-sensitive controller, so you can control each finger individually.
Ooh.
So, yeah, it's worth the money if you want to pay $1,000, but I'm not going to pay $1,000. On the plus side, though, if you've got $1,000 laying around and you want to buy a Valve Index, they'll throw in Half-Life Alyx for free, so you don't have to buy that.
Oh, thank goodness.
So essentially, you're getting the headset for $940.
Oh, wow.
That's a bargain. That's a steal.
Good God.
So anyway, you can play this with other VR headsets, and apparently you can play them with Windows mixed reality headsets, although I don't know how well that would work.
I think somebody has actually gotten this to play on mouse and keyboard too.
Oh, have they?
I think so. I'm not sure how well it is or
it's probably going to be as interesting as Surgeon Simulator, where you're trying to control all of your your fingers with the keyboard or whatever.
Yeah, that's not impossible.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I feel like if you're trying to get into VR, I've done a little bit of research, like I said, the Oculus Rift S is the way to go. It's priced, I think it's like $400 or something, so it's not cheap. But as far as VR headsets goes, it is decent. It is relatively cheap compared to the Valve Index. And you can still play Half-Life Alyx with it. You don't get a free copy, so you're going to have to end up dropping $60 for that too. But you can play it. So if you're looking into VR, I would say that that's probably your best bet. You're not going to get all the fancy hand tracking and everything, but you do get 2 controllers with the headset that you can use. And as a plus side, you don't need any external sensors because the Rift S has it's got motion tracking hand sensors built in to the headset, so don't have to worry about that. That's nice.
Gotcha.
So yeah, all this to say, this game sold me on VR 100%. I was not expecting that. I thought that this was going to be just a stupid one-trick pony, but I did not realize how much I wanted to go back to Half-Life. And I haven't even played all the way through Half-Life 2, which I know is probably a sin in some people's eyes, but the little bit that I've watched about it, it seems so cool. It makes me want to play it. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Alrighty. So, the entire point of our 10th gen discussion was leading up to 11th gen Rocket Lake S. Now, this one seems interesting. Still not happy, but it does seem like it is an actual improvement. So, to recap, skip 10th gen. It's not worth it. You're going to have one motherboard last one generation because... guess what, guys? 500 series motherboards are going to be a completely different socket once again. This time, it looks like there's going to be some actual reasons why we're going to actually get new technologies imported with this. So, Rocket Lake appears to be a 14 nanometer backport of what was supposed to be 10 nanometer Tiger Lake, which would feature the new Willow Cove cores from Intel and adoption of PCIe Express, PCIe 4.0. So there's actually new things going into it. With a new core architecture, we're going to finally have some meaningful IPC advantage uplifts. It's going to be on 14 nanometers, so at least you can't say they don't know what they're doing by now, because they've only had 7 years to work on 14 nanometer at this point, or at least damn well near close to it by the time this comes out. I think at this point they have finally realized that 10 nanometers is not going to work, at least not for desktop, not at the speeds they need with the yields that they need to make it work. So I think they're just abandoning it, and they had to do something. So they just backported their new Willow Cove to this, giving us new what am I trying to say here? New instructions. So we're getting new instruction sets. It's going to have the new XE graphics integrated into it. So
the Z graphics.
Yes, exactly. That's not going to confuse anybody for Xeon.
No.
We're going to have 4.0 direct 4.0 lanes, hopefully to not only the 16 lanes for the graphics card, but also hopefully PCI Express direct to the NVMe drives as well. It's supposed to be on LGA 1700, so a completely new socket. God knows if we're going to get more cores with this or not, because I don't think they can. Unless they're going to use a larger package, die size.
It does say on this diagram that they have that the NVMe storage is going to be on PCIe 4.
Good. So, awesome. We actually get something for this. With 10th gen, you get nothing. You get 2 more cores and that's it.
They've finally got embedded DisplayPort as opposed to VGA and HDMI.
Exactly. So there's.
I can't believe that they're still running that. I mean, Skylake, they were still running VGA and HDMI out the back of the motherboard.
Exactly.
Like, for real. I mean, HDMI is understandable, but VGA? Seriously? What is this, 2004? Come on.
Knows.
Like, I know that all three of my monitors are still running on DVI, but at least that's a little bit better than VGA.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
No.
Come on, people.
And then everything else is going to run through the chipset, so they're going to have 3.0 to their chipset to handle whatever else is thrown on the motherboard. Depends on who's going to make it. So, Wi-Fi, USB, God knows what. Maybe extra
Thunderbolt 4.
M.2 slots,
Yeah,
whatever they decide to do, that'll go through the chipset. But at least Intel is giving us the storage and, like he said, better display options in general besides just VGA. With hopefully nothing close to 5 or 10%. Hopefully some real gains on IPCs. And if they can keep it on the 14 nanometer process, maybe we can keep our 5 gigahertz speeds and not lose it all because they had to step the clock speed down so low.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Oh, and better graphics too. So, yay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. 500 series boards with a new socket. Supposedly coming late this year.
We'll see if Z can hold a candle to the integrated graphics that AMD is running right now.
Supposedly it's supposed to be better.
Oh,
but
we'll see.
We'll see. Won't really matter if it costs $600-$700 to get a
exactly
Core i3 non-F chip.
So dumb. Okay, so on to the discussion topics. My discussion topic is about the streaming, the new to theater movies that have started streaming. I just wanted to talk about what you think the future of it all is, because it's entirely possible that once this whole coronavirus thing is done,
it just reverts
and
back.
The movie theaters can open back up, that it goes away. But what do you think is going to happen to it?
Honestly, there's a lot of things that I don't know if they ever thought of doing or wanted to do, because it wasn't worth the time and the effort to do it. But now, we're forced into it, where there's a lot of people that now they've made the switch. It's a new way to do it. If people love it and they can get the same amount of money for a viewing as they can going to the actual movie theaters, I don't see it going away. Why? Why take something away if it's not hurting the studios? Now, if it's really hurting the studios, and this is going to tank box office earnings for every single movie in the future that goes this route, and they just can't recoup the investments going into these movies, then okay, fine. They'll have to stop it. That's not smart business, and I won't blame them if that's what happens. But if it's financially sound, you've introduced this now, and people will probably get used to it if this continues for any more length of time than it already has. I don't see the PR advantage to pull this out now.
Honestly, I don't either. I sincerely hope that we can get to a point where the streaming and the movies in theaters can coexist. I think the way to do it is to have the movie in the theater for like a month, because realistically that's where you're making the most money anyway, is even in the first opening weekend. But that first month is where you're going to make 99% of the money. And then just release it to Amazon and charge the $20 rental fee, and that way the people who didn't want to see it in the theater or have, three kids or whatever, they can just rent it for $20 and sit in their house and watch it. They don't have to go anywhere.
Exactly.
I think, and I hope that that's the case. I think that this would be like the perfect way to go about things.
Best of both
as
worlds
far
case
as
scenario.
everything goes. Yeah, exactly. And like I completely understand not wanting to release day and date the streaming version of the movie and the theatrical version of the movie.
Exactly.
That's not a big deal.
No.
You know?
I think a month
Because
is
if people want to
generous.
go see it in the movie theater, they can go see it in the movie theater, like a Star Wars movie or whatever.
Exactly.
I enjoyed watching those movies in the theater. So clearly there's still going to be a market, but there's also going to be a market for these new not straight to streaming, but new movies that have started streaming as well.
And how many movies have you and I wanted to see but couldn't see because we didn't have the time to see it in the first 2 or 3 weeks, and it just be in that certain part of the year where everything's coming out right after each other, giving 2 or 3 weeks space. The next 2 or 3 big ones come out, and the one you wanted to see got pushed out of the theaters because there's not enough room where you're at. You have a small town theater that only has 4 showings, or it was a smaller maybe indie project or something where it wasn't going to stay in the movie theater for
and now you've got to wait 6 months for it to come out on VOD,
exactly,
where you can rent it for $5 or whatever.
So you may actually make more money doing that.
I think you would definitely make more money
if you're going to use that pricing model.
Yeah.
Because there's been tons of movies that I've wanted to see and we just didn't see because they were already gone by the time we had a chance. And
exactly,
we just rent them later for $5. Where we are willing to pay the full price of admission, we just couldn't. So that's actually a cool way to do that.
This would be perfect. This would be perfect. You know,
I'm liking this more and more.
Yeah. Okay.
I approve.
So now we're going to get into your discussion topic, which is the newly signed stimulus package for those of us in the United States of America.
Yeah. And in full disclosure, there were a little bit of changes that happened after this article was posted, but it's not going to matter in the least because you guys are going to hear this like 5 days after anyways, so not all the information is going to be 100% correct, but it was the best article I could find that had a really good rundown of what it was as it was passed unanimously by the Senate, 96-0, which I thought was an amazing precedent by itself, and then immediately blasted Democratic leadership in the House the very next day when they delayed the vote on this. So I got into my very rare political side of things, and
yeah, I saw that.
let one go. So anyways, so as it was passed by the Senate, CNBC had posted an article. Here's what's in the $2 trillion, good God, $1 trillion coronavirus stimulus bill. Which, to put into context, I think the controversial Obama bailouts back in 2008, I think maxed at like 700 or 800 billion, and this is $2 trillion. So we're talking quite a bit more money.
For real, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. The best and I think the most important thing out of all of this was the option to give one-time direct payments of up to $1,200 for individuals and $2,400 for couples, with $500 added for every child based on 2019 tax returns, unless you hadn't done yours yet, in which they'll go off 2018 tax returns. That phases out. It starts to phase out at $75,000. So if you're $75,000 or below, single, or $150,000 or less for couples, you are getting this full $1,200 each, plus $500 for whatever kiddos you might have. So a family of 4 would get $3,400 out of this.
Not bad.
That's a pretty substantial amount of change.
I'll say.
It goes up to people making $99,000, at which case it drops out completely. So it's a diminishing return once you get above $75,000. Once you get to $99,000 individually, you're done. One of the things that was going to be grandstanded, but ultimately was not, was this unemployment insurance, adding up to $600 per week for 4 months on top of what beneficiaries would normally receive from their states. So if you got $400 a month from your state and you got $600 a week from the government, you'd get $1,000 a week for unemployment, which is more than what I make employed. So what incentive is there for me to keep working? This was a little bit of a contingent spot because it was so high.
Yeah, I can see that. But then again, these people still have to... They're not going to have a job after all this is done. So, you know.
It is what it is. We're not going to discuss the politics on that. It was contentious for that very reason. We get a $500 billion pool of taxpayer money to make loans, guys. This is loans. This is not give-outs. Guarantees
this is not the one-time payments that we were talking about before.
So loans, guarantees, or investments to or in businesses, states, and municipalities damaged by the crisis. Ergo, this wasn't $500 billion of your taxpayer money, which, believe me, I'd be upset too if it was, going to states or businesses for whatever, just to bail them out. This is loans, meaning the government is going to take whatever they want when this is all said and done, if this is not paid back. So if they get 80% of the company in stock, they get 80% of the company in stock. This is not a handout. It is a loan. They're obligated to pay it back. There is a difference, and I don't have any problem giving people a low-interest loan versus a handout. There is a difference, people. And you got to read the language, because it's not $2 trillion just given away. And if you want to complain about the $1,200 for individuals, I can personally guarantee that that $1,200 plus I got back for taxes last year does not even make the amount I paid into taxes. So if you want to be technical, they're giving me about everything I paid into taxes for federal income tax last year. That's not a lot. It really isn't a lot, considering I paid it to them already. And so did all of you, assuming you pay taxes.
Exactly, yeah.
$25 billion in grants and airliners. In grants to airliners. $4 billion to cargo carriers. To be used exclusively to pay employee wages, salaries, and benefits. Okay, what's wrong with that? It's going to the people.
There's nothing wrong with that, yeah.
$17 billion.
I've already heard horror stories of airlines just telling people that they needed to take a break because they couldn't.
Exactly.
They didn't have the money. Well, they said that they didn't have the money to pay them. Now they have no excuse.
And again, grants and loans going to taxpayers. It ain't that big of a deal. Puts $117 billion into hospitals and veterans' health care. Veterans haven't been taken care of for years, so I don't care. They probably deserve it. In fact, they put their life on the line for this country. They don't probably deserve it. They do deserve it. $17 billion in loans and loan guarantees for unspecified business critical to maintaining national security.
Okay. So like
now this one might not have needed to go in there. That should have been
Probably
used
not.
out of the DOJ's department fund that they get plenty of money for anyways. But again, it's loans.
But again, it is a loan.
It's loans. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop there for that one anyways. $16 billion for the strategic national stockpile of pharmaceutical and medical supplies. Probably should have happened before the crisis, but
You would think so.
at least it's being done now. I guess better late than never, right?
Mm-hmm.
$350 billion in loans for small businesses to cover salary, wages, and benefits worth 250% of an employer's monthly payroll with a maximum loan of $10 million. Basically gives any small business 250% of an employer's monthly payroll for a max of $10 million.
2.5 months worth of payroll,
Basically, in a loan. So if that's used to keep Bob employed for the next 2.5 months by just paying him to stay at home, then that's what they can use it for. That keeps Bob from having to collect unemployment, which would have made him take money from the other part of this bill as it was separated out there. So again, loans for small businesses to make sure they can stay afloat, because God knows they need the help. So I don't have a problem with that. Include a tax credit for retaining employees worth up to 50% of the wages paid during the crisis for businesses forced to suspend operations or that have seen gross receipts fall by 50% from the previous year. So basically like hair salons or other personal things that can't be open, gives them another way to make payroll.
Any businesses that aren't classified as essential.
Yes, that got
AKA,
shut down.
AKA, like David said, and definitely not GameStop.
Exactly.
I hope GameStop isn't included in any of these because they're garbage.
For what he
Anyway.
for what he is referencing, guys, GameStop tried to declare themselves essential business and was telling their employees if the National Guard was to come by or any other law enforcement, they were to hold a sign up on the door declaring themselves, quote, essential, and they wasn't going to shut down. And
then they did shut down.
Me and Ben called BS on that one as soon as it happened. Let's see. Anyways, where were we at? Required group health plans and insurance providers to cover preventative services related to coronavirus without cost sharing.
It's good.
Okay, fine. Delay payroll tax for employers requiring half of the deferred tax to be paid by the end of 2021, the other half the end of 2022. So payroll tax is very expensive for small businesses, and if they can defer it by 2 years to pay half next year and half the next year after that, that helps them continue to operate, keeps them from shutting down. Who the hell's going to complain about that? I love this one. This is perfect. Bans companies that take government loans from buying back stock until a year after the loan is paid back. So this is for all of us naysayers that were complaining that it was just going to go to the executives and they were just going to buy back all the stock and they wasn't going to put it towards any of the employees' cost or anything like that. So that's in there. I think it's a good idea. If they need a loan to stay open, then they probably shouldn't be buying back their own damn stock.
Wow, I love this next one.
the bar's employees or executives who made at least $425,000 from getting a raise. Again, keeps people
Yes.
that shouldn't
That's
have gotten
beautiful.
a raise because they laid everybody off from getting a raise. I think that's just fine. I think Bob in the CEO's office can withhold his 10% raise this year if he's already making that much. I don't have a problem with that. This next one, was just put in there by the Democrats to appease everybody. Stop President Donald Trump and his family members' businesses from receiving emergency taxpayer relief. This provision also applies to Vice President Mike Pence, heads of executive departments, members of Congress, and their families. Basically, they're keeping the money from going to Trump's golf resorts, which almost certainly probably should have been shut down and not making any
Well,
money.
to be fair, they're also barring literally everybody in Congress, too.
They are. But I just love how they put Trump first.
Yeah.
But whatever. Everybody, like he said, they did it to everybody else and all other heads of state. So, heads of executive departments, I should say. So, it's fair. It didn't single out one person. It's just the way they wrote it. It was funny. And then
this last one,
thank God.
I'm sure
a lot of people are going to be happy about this.
Yes. Suspend federal student loan payments through September 30th with no accrual of interest on those loans. So if you have any federal student loans, you do not have to make any, per this stimulus package, you don't have to make any payments on it until after September 30th. Which is what, like 6 months? More than 6 months. No, 6 months from now, pretty much.
Which is nice for all those who are stuck, forced out of a job because they got shut down.
Exactly.
Through no fault of their own. And I think this needs to be one of the bigger points of discussion as far as this time around versus last time around. Call it a bailout if you want. Because I really wasn't a fan of the first bailout. They supposedly did it to keep the economy from tanking even worse and to save thousands and thousands of American jobs because the big three and the banking industry screwed up royally. They put themselves in that situation. And that might be a controversial thing to say, but they put themselves there. It was kind of their fault. So I kind of didn't like what happened, but whatever, that was 10 years ago. Last I checked, this isn't any of their fault. Sally down at the hair salon shouldn't be forced out of her home because this shit happened, because she's got nothing else she can do. Because some damn virus came along and shut down the country for like a month. It's not Sally's fault. So, for all of those that were saying on the Republican side that this is just another bailout and that they shouldn't have done it, screw you, you don't have a heart. And for all the Democrats out there that were complaining that, oh, this is just going to help those rich get richer, screw you, you don't have a heart either. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because this isn't anybody's fault. Nobody could have seen this coming.
No.
And yeah, sure, you could plan better if you wanted and have financial 6-month emergency funds, sure. If you follow certain people, that's what they tell you to do.
Certainly.
This is bigger than that. This is ridiculous.
This is... Nobody could have foreseen this coming. And I mean, you can't... Like you said, certainly people could have planned better. But what about the people who are just getting on their feet financially, and then this comes along and wipes them out, you know? And I mean, it's not like people don't turn 18 every day. People don't get a new job every day. They're trying to get back on their feet every day.
What happens?
And then this just comes along and, you know, basically kills any chance of you getting on your feet anytime soon. So, as contentious as some of the things in this stimulus package are, I feel like as a whole, it's a good thing. Definitely. Do I like some of the things that they put in there? Not necessarily, but you know, the one-time payments of $1,200 and the and the $117 billion into hospitals and veterans health care and the suspending of student loans, that is a few steps in the right direction. Mm-hmm. So I can't be mad about it.
But there are things in here that aren't listed in this that are stupid. I think it was $500 million or something going to the Kennedy Center just for like renovations or something like that. Okay. There's things that should not have gone through in this package.
Well, I'm sure those were things put in there to appease somebody. So, if that's what it takes to get this entire package put through, then it's a necessary evil.
Yeah. I mean, you could have just stopped the checks for people and the hospitals and maybe the tax credits for certain things. And then just said we'll do the rest in the next package. But that takes a lot of incentive for that to not get passed away. Mm-hmm. So separating it all out like that probably would mean it never got done anyway. So if it gets it done, it gets it done.
Exactly.
I'm not 100% going to disagree that it couldn't have been done better, but there's people out there that need help, and this is going to help a lot.
Mm-hmm. All right. So,
with that being said,
now for our final segment of the show. We've got some movie trailers that we're going to take a look at. The basic gist of this segment is we're going to watch them. We're going to tell you whether we're going to see them in theaters or whether we're going to see them on rental or if we're going to see them at all. First trailer we have is for Puka 2.
Here in Spring Valley, there's people obsessed with Puka.
Perfection.
You know the story about the chick who created it, right? She was wearing a puka mask.
Murdered her husband.
And lit herself on fire. Really? Yep. Fucked up, huh?
The unveiling's next week with the new puka design, so get started on my speech ASAP.
What if we made our own challenge you can do to summon puka?
You should post it.
The Puka Challenge is the biggest internet sensation of all time.
The internet literally created a monster. It's taken on a life of its own.
That is absolutely terrifying.
I've seen the first one. I guess this one probably won't count for a little rating system because it is a Hulu exclusive. But I saw the first one, and it was actually really, really interesting. It's a really interesting twist on a weird horror movie. This seems like it's going in a different direction tonally because the first one was a little bit more psychological. This one just seems to be like straight up like quote unquote paranormal horror, but I don't know, still seems pretty interesting.
Terrifying, but interesting. We both have Hulu. You gonna watch that?
I probably will when it comes out. Yeah, I like the first one.
I think we should add that to the list.
We're gonna have to add it to the list.
We're gonna have to create this.
Just add it to the list. Add it to the list of about a bajillion other things we've said we're gonna watch.
We'll have.
Okay. So next we have Generation Zero.
Hey you, whoever you are, I need your help. If you find this message, I no longer exist because they got me. Our world has changed much faster than we could ever adapt to. We gave up reality to escape the hamster wheel of society's dreadnought. Welcome to the Animals. Generation Z. I call it Generation Zero.
It's kind of somewhat makes me think that this is something that might have happened in Ready Player One. Had IOI gotten a hold of the Oasis. I know it's not, but that's kind of what it's reminding me of. In a certain way.
Or the Matrix.
Or the Matrix.
Kind of.
I would say it's more closely related to the Matrix, but
yeah. It seems interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it does.
I couldn't find, when I was looking for this, I couldn't find any information on this movie, like, at all. So I have no idea when it's coming out or if it's coming out in the theaters or what, but I don't know. It seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly. Probably going to be a wait for a rental for me, though,
yeah,
just because.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so next we have Bad Education.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage our district superintendent and my friend, Frank Tassone. In Long Island, the town is only as good as its
public schools. The better the school system, the higher the price tag on the homes.
These are the best early decision numbers that we've ever seen.
I wanted to make a difference. I got us all the way to number 4, and I will get us to number 1.
Get us to first. That's all that matters. Hey, Frank.
Yeah.
I've been doing some digging. I'm concerned with what I found.
This is a criminal matter.
Frank's gonna fix this.
I want to know what this is off of, because it seems really interesting, and I want to know what's going on. I like it.
Yeah, this I was not expecting this sort of movie when I saw the title and everything. But okay. I have no idea what it's going to be about necessarily.
Yeah,
but
I was
that
going to say,
it's definitely got me intrigued.
Is it embezzlement? Is it falsified test records? What is it? What did he find?
I don't know.
It seems interesting.
I don't know.
I like it. I want to watch that.
Yes,
but too bad it's
this
on
is
HBO.
Definitely. Is it?
Yes.
Or is it just an HBO produced movie?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I don't know, whatever. We'll find a way to watch it anyway, whether it's probably not going to be theaters, but rental or whatever, we'll watch. It looks interesting. Okay. So next we have The Wretched.
Hey neighbor, you see anything weird outside your house, you tell me, all right?
Dad, Mom's being weird.
Mom's always been weird.
What are you doing up here?
Dylan! Don't let her in.
My son likes to play hide and seek. Can you bring him down?
I didn't say he was here.
You're a very stupid boy.
Can I help you? Is Dylan home?
Dylan, down here, baby.
You know, your son Dylan? I don't have a son. He had no idea who I was talking about.
Listen to Mommy. Stay, Dylan.
He's gone. I know it.
Oh. Okay.
That's creepy. What the heck? What? That was not where I expected this movie to go. At all.
So, did she just kill her husband and her son? Oh, Lord have mercy. I have so many questions.
I have no idea.
That's deep.
This is very interesting,
yes,
though.
I would recommend anybody to go watch that trailer. And,
yes.
Look that up, because that is different. That is the best one out of all of them tonight so far.
So far, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Watch it. Movies.
I think this is pretty comparable to the Invisible Man trailer that we watched a while ago. Because that really got me interested too.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I watched the movie. This one I think is going to be a wait for a rental, only because, it's not. I'm not going to watch this movie in the theater.
No,
God,
no.
no. I'm going to watch it at home with all the lights on. And a blanket.
This is the type of movie that I begin to question every little noise I hear at night.
Yes.
After watching that.
Uh-huh.
It's like, oh God, what is going on?
Okay.
Oof.
So next we have the trailer for Fast 9.
I used to live my life a quarter mile at a time. But things changed. I'm a father now. I will always be in your heart.
Little Brian, I have a gift for you. Your daddy gave me this. No, I'm gonna give it to you. It's very special. It's for protection from what's coming.
All right, Dom. What's next?
No matter how fast you are,
I am not to be compared to you.
no one outruns their past.
I am more easy, you trying your best to become me.
And mine just caught up to me. Been a long time, Dom.
So we're up against a master thief, assassin, high performance driver. Who is he?
Jacob is Dom's brother.
This isn't going to be a popular thing to say because a lot of people I don't think like the direction these movies go anymore, but it just puts a smile on my face.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. The fact that John Cena is his brother and then Han is back and everything seems like a really stupid premise to me. But these movies have been stupid for a long time now. So if this gets to you, then you're stupid. This movie is going to be awesome. Like, how can you not get hyped for this? This is so cool.
That's why I'm not mad at it. This is the direction they've gone for a long time. And
like they're going so far into the deep end. They're getting into legit like Bollywood physics now. Like, come on. A magnet plane, a car that goes like 600 feet off of a mountain, and then another car that gets caught onto a rope bridge and then swung around. What is that? How do you do that? I don't know. I don't care. I love it.
Exactly. I'm glad we're in agreement on that because I was thinking you might not like it, but
listen, I was not on board with the whole. I like The Rock better than John Cena. I'm gonna be honest.
Why is he
and
not
I
on
understand
this?
that there was some. I think there was some sort of behind the scenes feud or something between Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson. Which is why Hobbs and Shaw was made and Vin Diesel was not in it. My understanding was that they made up, but I guess this movie was done after or before that happened. So I guess he might be in the next one. I don't know. But anyway, I like The Rock more than I do John Cena. Yeah. But both of them are great actors, and I still have I'm still super excited for this. Mm-hmm. And like David said, this is the direction that these movies are going now. I'm good with it, honestly.
I'm fine.
If you're really having an issue with this, like, you should have had an issue like 2-3 movies ago when they jumped a Ferrari between buildings or a Lamborghini or whatever it was.
If you liked 5 and then 6, you shouldn't have any problems with this. It's been going on for 3-4 movies now. I think 4 was the big like turning point. Mm-hmm. I actually have not seen 2 and 3 through the entire movie. I kind of didn't like them. The original one, loved it. 2 and 3, I don't think I really liked. I got back into it on 4, and I've watched every single one, and they all just make me smile so much.
Was Tokyo Drift considered number 2, or was that like a separate thing?
I think that's 3.
Okay.
Too Fast, Too Furious is number 2.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm pretty sure Tokyo Drift is considered number 3. It might be its own separate thing. I'm not positive.
Okay.
But I think it's 3.
Either way, this movie is fantastic. Yes. If I could see it in the theaters, 100% I would.
Pretty
like
sure
2,000%.
Pretty sure it got delayed too. Because of this god-awful virus.
Maybe they'll release it on the streaming thing. And we can watch it when you're down here. That's exciting.
Yes,
okay.
I love it.
So the last trailer that we've got is for Saw, aka Saw 9.
What do you got there?
Oh, it's just my wife, Emma. This is my son, Charlie.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
While it lasts.
Nothing happier than the wife of a new detective.
Emma's cool, man. She's different. You don't know my wife.
You give a woman 600 Tuesdays. It ain't worth 3 Saturday nights.
How much money you got? A lot. How many problems you got? A lot. How many people that doubted? A lot.
All available units, officer down.
Pray that you flop.
Detective Banks and Rob. Whoever did this has another motive. They're targeting cops.
This shit's gonna go sideways fast.
Somebody's out there pulling all the strings.
You wanna play games, motherfucker?
Another one that makes me smile.
Listen, I'm not 100%. I wasn't 100% sure about this when I saw that what this trailer was.
No, I wasn't either.
I knew that Chris Rock was attached. It surprised me to see that he was producing it, and then Samuel L. Jackson came on the screen. I'm like, all right,
yep.
Well, I guess I've got to see this movie now.
As soon as he was in that trailer, it's like, Ben would appreciate this. This is going on this episode.
Listen, I am a sucker for since Kingsman. Yep. I have been a sucker for anything that he has been in. Like, sincerely. His performance in Kingsman was fantastic. What else was he in that I remember seeing? I liked Django Unchained too, even though that was before Kingsman. I can't remember what else he's been in that I've seen since Kingsman. But either way, he's what sold me on this movie. So, it's still probably going to be a wait for rental for me. Just because
was it Captain Marvel?
Not... Yeah. Well, yeah, duh. All of the freaking Marvel stuff. Duh.
Well, you said since then.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
Captain Marvel, yeah.
the exact order.
Was he in Endgame at all?
The end credit scene.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Which introduced Captain Marvel, so call it what you want. It's the same basic thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, this is still probably going to be a wait for rental for me, just because I do not want to see any horror movies in the theater. But still looks interesting enough for me to see, at least once.
I didn't think I'd want to see it at all, because it's Saw again, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I tried and watched the first one a while ago, and I couldn't get through it. It was just, I mean, I get the whole point of it, I guess. Yeah. It's supposed to be a thriller. You're supposed to, like, look to see what these people are going to have to do to get out of this situation, but it was so boring. Ugh. This seems like it's going to be the right amount of the original Saw and, like, a new thriller sort of Saw.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they've made before, because I haven't seen any of the Saw movies before.
Neither have I. Not enough to count nor care about.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this seems really interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Gonna add it to the list. All right, that is where we're gonna leave it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to leave a rating on whatever platform you're listening on. We will read out whatever 5-star reviews we get, or 5, whatever the top rating, whatever the top rating is on whatever platform you happen to be listening on. We'll read it out on the air whenever we get them. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys. This episode of Podcast Period was produced and hosted by Ben, co-hosted and edited by David. You can find Ben on Twitter at BenPlaysVidjas. That's Ben Plays VIDYAS. And you can find David at Car6by16. You can find the show on Twitter at Podcast Period, or email us at podcastperiod@gmail.com. That's it for this week. Thanks for listening.
This was a Nerdgasm Podcast production.
Well, that was another in a long series of regrettable life choices.
Served at nerdgasmpodcast.com.